And yes, you heard right. It is time for that electrician. Yes, it is. You heard correctly. We're gonna be we're gonna check out bat bombs. I have no idea where Nick is going with this, but I am intrigued. I am indeed intrigued where the hell he's going to go with this. So, okay, if you say it's hilarious, I'm probably gonna love it. So, let me actually shrink down. Get small! Small kitty. Okay. Hey, it is? Alright, let's check it out, because God knows we love our fat electrician.
Today we're talking about the only animal-based weapon of mass destruction ever conceived. Ladies and gentlemen, America's bat bomb.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
As many of you are probably aware, at the end of World War II, America was looking for a new super weapon that could prematurely end the war. Option A was always the atomic bomb. Option B was, well, that was also the atomic bomb. But option C involved 1 million free-tailed Mexican bats and napalm.
What?
No, I'm not making this up. I read the entire book to get ready for this video. Okay, here's the deal. It's not really a bomb, it's a giant bird cage that looks like a bomb, and inside of each one of these cages was 1,040 free-tailed Mexican bats that had a napalm incendiary device super glued to their chest that was rigged to go off with a timer. The idea...
Are you fucking kidding me? That's rigged with napalm. Holy fuck, that's diabolical. That is some supervillain shit right there. Coming out of the United States government. The creator was thinking, oh, what crazy ass comic book did the creator of this come up with? I swear to God.
It was to do a bombing run at dawn, releasing a bunch of these canisters. After being released, they would travel down several thousand feet before deploying a parachute. This would both slow down the cage and open it so all the bats could fly away. And because they were doing this bombing run at dawn, all the bats would immediately try to find somewhere to roost for the day so they could go to bed. And since they're bats, that's always going to be some dark, hard-to-reach nook or cranny like an attic. And given that Japan was made pretty much exclusively out of wood and paper at that point in time, presented an enormous issue in 2 hours when those bats would burst into flames and presumably light an entire city on fire. Bah! Does this hurt the bat? Bah! Yes!
That was for Keyboard Warrior. Are you fucking stupid?
Our other option was the Japanese version of D-Day.
Yeah. I mean, Oseki, he's obviously doing that because somebody would be stupid enough to ask that question. Somebody would be dumb, like somebody on the internet would be dumb enough to ask that question. And yes, Eki, poor bats. I don't know if PETA was around. Yeah, this one wondering else. I can't remember if PETA had come into existence by the time of World War II. I don't think they had. I don't know if there were really any animal rights organizations around back then. So there was no one to say, no, you're not doing this because of animal rights.
Yes, this hurts the bat, okay? Just don't tell PETA. I don't need them coming after me with their frail, anemic wrath. I mean, realistically, they're gonna find this video anyways, because one of them's gonna be Googling bath bombs. Google's gonna be like, oh, did you mean bat bombs? And they watch my video. Now it's demonetized, so we're gonna have to have a sponsor. Ladies and gentlemen, this video is brought to you by JX Tactical, makers of my personal favorite holster, their trademarked Fat Guy holster. It allows you to carry a firearm and have a little bit extra room for tactical fluff. Anyways, back to these bat bombs. Now, I think we can all agree that this idea is so fucking stupid that it's genius, so who is the madman that came up with it? Ladies and gentlemen, a dentist and part-time inventor from Pennsylvania by the name of Lytle S. Adams. A man...
Because of course a dentist would think of something this diabolical in the 1950s. Of course it was
People
a
eating
dentist.
Tasty animals.
Yeah, basically. And yes, Walge, PETA does kill a lot of animals. That's why people hate PETA, is because they preach that they are for animals and they end up killing most of the animals they imagine finger quotes here, save. Yeah, I cannot wait for this explanation. I have a feeling I'm going to be saying lock him up into an asylum after this.
Man whose other inventions included a fried chicken vending machine and a way to pick up mail by plane without having to land the plane. So clearly, things are starting to add up.
Okay, the picking up the plane picking up mail without having to land the plane, that's not all that crazy. I mean, the military
Speaking
does
of
that
weird
with
bombs, did you
non-mail.
know America was trying to work on hypothetical non-lethal gay bombs?
What? What Alex Jones insanity is this? And Darkwing Duck, that's why I paused it. A fried chicken vending machine. That was this dentist's invention, one of them. A fried chicken vending machine. Why can we not have it? Because I would not trust any fried chicken that ever came out of a vending machine. I do not want salmonella. I like being salmonella free, thank you.
January of 1942, he would write a letter to the White House, and let me tell you, it is one of the letters of all time. It opens up pretty strong with, and I quote, "Shall the sun set quickly over the land of the rising sun, with a dawn visit at a convenient time in an appropriate way." He then goes on to, in detail, explain that bats are the lowest form of life in the animal kingdom, and that he is thoroughly convinced that they were placed on Earth by God to help America win World War II.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a religious nut on our hands. And this man you are allowing to work on your mouth. Oh, God. Yeah, this man is unwell. During one of the wars, America was trying to make a bomb that turned soldiers gay. And honestly, that doesn't surprise me that some jackass would try and come up with that in, like, especially in the CIA. That does not surprise me that they would attempt something like that.
With a bat bomb. So, clearly a well-balanced individual. I mean, we're talking about manifest destiny for fucking bats, for Christ's sake. In the letter, he then goes on to in detail explain why this is such a good idea. Bats are faster than birds. They can carry twice their weight. You can throw them in the fucking fridge so that they go into hibernation, and that'd be a really convenient time to strap a bomb to them. You know, awesome stuff. I think the point I'm trying to get to is there's no way in hell this letter is making it through the screening process at the White House to make it to the president, right? Wrong. Apparently, this guy knows Eleanor Roosevelt, mails the letter directly to her.
Okay, if Eleanor Roosevelt knows this guy, that brings up a whole different set of questions of who the fuck is Eleanor Roosevelt cavorting with? If she knows a psycho like this guy, what kind of circles was she running in back then? Oh!
Gives it to FDR, and FDR fucking loves it. He immediately forwards the letter to his military generals with a note of his own that says, and I quote, "This man is not a nut. It's a perfectly wild idea that we need to look into." And that's it. The president said we're doing it. We're fucking doing it. Perfectly wild idea that we need to look into. And
you might reply... Hang on. You might reply for me to Mr. Adams' letter. Which is the guy, I guess. What? The fuck? This, of course, begs the question, how the fuck are people like this in charge of anything? How the hell is FDR reading this and going, you know what? This isn't a bad idea. Like, that's the real fucking scary part, is that FDR went, this ain't a bad idea, let's check it out. Alex, I have. That actually sounds familiar.
look into. And that's it. The president said we're doing it. We're fucking doing it. America's building a bat bomb because a dentist in
This is
Pennsylvania...
proof we live in a simulation.
No, Rygat, it's more of proof of my first law when it comes to humanity. People are stupid. That's more what it's proof of. And hi, Rep, welcome.
said so. Alright, fast forward like a year and a half, they figured out how to make the bomb itself. They figured out that they're going to use the Mexican free-tailed bat because it's very fast and very strong. They figured out that they're going to use napalm instead of white phosphorus. They've figured out how to attach the incendiary device to the bat itself. All that's left to do is to test it, and on May 15th, 1943, that's exactly what they're going to do. Needless to say, everybody that knows about it's really excited. All the bigwigs are showing up. There was even a Marine Corps General, Louis DeHaven, that showed up unannounced and uninvited because, well, he's a Marine and he heard that somebody was going to be blowing shit up with bats, and that's just what Marines are into. So they start the first test. They're going to drop 250 bats with nothing attached to them just to see how the bats react to falling out of an airplane. So the bomb drops, the canister's open, the bats take off. They go like 20 miles to some ranch that's near the airfield. They're everywhere. They're in this guy's barn, they're in his attic, they're in his hay. The bat bomb worked perfect. Okay, so test number 2. Now they're going to strap the incendiary devices to the bats, but they're going to de-weaponize them just to see how the bats behave when they're carrying their own body weight worth of explosives. So again,
Let's see. Okay, hear me out. Why bats when we have pigeons that were already trained from the First World War to deliver messages so securely, you could easily turn them into an early version of Doodlebug, aka B-1 Rocket. Well, heckily explain it is because it's a matter of strapping a fucking bomb to a pigeon, and not only that, the time of which they were going to release them would have also coincided with when bats would have searched for dark hidey holes like homes in Japan, and like there was all these factors why they why they chose bats as opposed to pigeons. It's the behaviorals, the biologicals, things like that is why they went with bats.
they drop the bomb, the canister's open, the bats take off, but they don't go nearly as far because they're over-encumbered. Instead, they decide to just infest everything on the airfield. They're in the barracks, they're in the airplane hangars, they're underneath the general's car. And then 15 minutes later, they realize that they forgot to de-weaponize them. The bats blow up and burn the entire fucking place to the ground. So the...
Oh my... fuck. Oh, regrets. They forgot to de-weaponize them. And they went off. Oh, God. And including the general's fucking car. Oh, oh, God. This is like a Mongolian-sized clusterfuck. Well, here's the thing. They went off, but let's see how well it worked. We know it went off. That's it. That's all we know so far.
The entire Army chain of command that's been in control of this project the entire time freaks out. They decide they're going to terminate the whole thing because obviously it doesn't work. And that's when that Marine Corps general that wasn't even invited, General Louis McHaven, shows up as like, no, it worked perfect. You dumbasses just forgot to de-weaponize the bats. If you don't want it, the Marine Corps is going to take it over because this shit's awesome. And that's pretty much exactly what happens. The United States Marine Corps takes over the entire project and it becomes known as Project X-Ray. Why'd they call it Project X-Ray? I have no fucking idea, and neither does anybody else. I mean, to be fair, we all knew the Marines were going to be in charge of this at some point. I mean, their entire life motto is, it's not stupid if it works, and that's exactly what this project is as a whole. So the Marines went ahead and continued testing. They ended up testing it in a mock Japanese village at Dugway Proving Ground, and what they discovered was that the average incendiary bombing run would light about 400 fires. The average bat bombing run would light about 4,700 fires, meaning that the bat bombs were 12 times more effective than a regular
Jesus.
incendiary bomb. Okay, look, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think most of you are picking up what I'm putting down. Being 12 times more effective than regular incendiary bombs means that the bat bomb is one of the most effective and most deadly weapons of mass destruction ever created. And I know that sounds stupid, but I promise you it's true. If you were to ask most people what the deadliest bombing run of all time was, guaranteed they would probably guess Hiroshima or Nagasaki. It's a great guess. It's the only time the atomic bomb's ever been used, and it was very deadly. But it was not the deadliest. The deadliest bombing run was done on March 9th, 1945, when America firebombed Japan. More people died from that bombing run than Hiroshima and Nagasaki combined. And that was done with regular incendiary bombs. So you can imagine what would happen if bat bombs were dropped, which are theoretically 12 times more effective. It would have been absolutely catastrophic. I realize that we're getting oddly serious, and I apologize, but it absolutely blows my mind that in the biggest military conflict the world has ever seen, in the search for a superweapon, you had a bunch of scientists, the most brilliant minds in the world, that figured out how to split an atom in half, breaking chemical bonds, releasing an immense amount of energy and radiation and destructive force. And then you have the Marines that are like, I need a bomb-shaped colander, 1,000 bats, and some jungle jelly, and somehow the Marines manage to be more deadly. It makes no fucking sense. It's making me question everything, because my entire life I thought Batman was kind of a bitch for being scared of bats. Like, just grow a pair, grab a tennis racket, start Babe Ruthing those motherfuckers, and move on with your life. But no, as it turns out, Batman was right. Bats are absolutely terrifying, and it's all because some dentist taught the Marines how to turn them into a WMD, and I have no idea how to end this video. So I guess if you made it this far down this weird history rabbit hole, thanks for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang, out.
Yeah, Shadow, we very well might have. We might have. Wow. And from that video, it sounds like they never actually got used. Unfortunately, it sounds like the bat bombs never actually got used. So, yeah, it was a good idea, but yeah, they dropped the nukes first.